How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to do a comparison between the 10-bit versus 8-bit on the 120 frames per second on the Sony A7 IV to see if there's a notable difference. So let's jump right into it. One of the biggest things that I've seen when it comes down to the A7 IV that I get asked the most, and one of my most viewed videos, is getting the 10-bit color off of the Sony A7 IV that you can do with the S-Gamut to get 120 frames per second 10-bit color. Now, I kept wondering, is there really that much of a difference? Since I know technically the resolution of the megabits that it saves it at is, I think, 89 megabits of the file sizes versus 100, I believe, on the 120 frames per second at 8-bit, doing it normal. I wanted to see if there was that much of a big difference that it would matter so much that you should just probably stick with the normal 8-bit, or if the 10-bit really just surpasses it so you can do more color grading with it, then not. We're gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of videoing, both of the same things, to kind of put them side to side and then show you which one is which, to see if you kind of can tell before letting you know which one I'm, going with and which one's on which side. That way you can see for yourself in the testing. Obviously with the compression of any social media, you'll have that, but bear with me and just see how it looks that way. So the ultimate goal for me is just try to recreate both videos as well as I can so that it's the same kind of style side by side. So I won't be doing too much movement when it comes down to the panning of the camera as much as I can, unless I know that I can replicate it well enough, but that way to make it as possible to be similar as can be for the sake of this test. So when it comes down to the 8-bit color, I use S-Log2, so that's a big of a difference when it comes down to the 10-bit for the S-Gamut. So that way you know straight from the bat when it comes down to comparing these two, because with the S-Log2, when it comes down to 8-bit, it's a little bit better because I have this special settings that, in case you want to know, I'll leave it in the description to help you out if you're using 8-bit color, so that way it doesn't fall apart as much. I used to do this a lot with my Sony A7 III, so that's one of the things that I wanted to let you guys know. So whenever there's a comparison of it, you can kind of tell a little bit better how they look, so that it's not as much difference in that way. I'm going to do one single one of S-Log3 and then one for the 8-bit and 10-bit, so that way you can see the comparison of that without having my comparison of the way that I do it, so you can see that as well. So we're going to do first up the kind of subject one. I'm going to be the nice model this time. I'm going to have my wife video me and then go from there, and then we'll do a little bit more of just certain objects just to see if it's really that noticeable, as well doing it more with the sun over there, kind of showcasing it and see if the colors fall apart or not. Go. I don't know if you guessed it right so far with knowing which one is which when it comes down to the 10-bit versus the 8-bit, but hopefully you're in the money so far when it comes down to your guessing, because if so, you might want to go buy a lottery ticket today. But we're gonna move on now to seeing more with the sun flare kind of going through, seeing if we can tell a noticeable difference when it comes down to the colors, if it's falling apart or not. So let's get it. That was with the sun, kind of hitting a little bit more just to see if the colors are falling apart. Did you guess it correctly, or are you 0 for 2, 1 for 1? I don't know. Are you kind of in the 50 range? But just wanted to see how it's looking so far. That way you can see for yourself if the 8-bit or 10-bit is more than enough, You know, this is the whole purpose of this, since I know a lot of people were kind of not super content with the 120 frames per second being at 8-bit for the most part in the normal mode, but if you do the S&Q, getting the 10-bit, even though it's 89 megabits or whatever for file sizes. So it is what it is, but we're gonna try to film those birds for a last little case scenario, and or maybe some of the houses over there, but just to get a little bit more comparison, that we have, you know, portraits, a little bit of sun, and just landscape kind of style. There you go, those were the tests that I was able to do using my style of S-Log2 for the 8-bit color, as well as S-Log3 with 8-bit and the 10-bit, just to compare it a little bit more fairly so you guys get more of that setup. But if you want to do the type of S-Log2 in case you want to keep it at 8-bit, I'll leave the, I guess, settings that I usually use whenever you create that S-Log2 in the description down below. That way, in case you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. Hope it'll help you out. It's just to help and retain a little bit more information, since with the 8-bit you have less color to kind of mess around with usually. But that's just something that I learned from Becky and Chris and their channel. So if you haven't, you know, heard from them, make sure to check them down below. I'll leave like their channel as well to check their video if you want to see more in depth of how to get all the details for that S-Log2 to retain more information for 8-bit color. Now, moving on from that, I just wanted to check, could you tell really the difference when it came down to both? Was it very obvious for you or not? I would love to know. Leave a comment down below, since I know most people kind of tend to go with, you know, okay, it's 10-bit, but it's 89 megabits of file size, you know, or, you know, the 8-bit is 100. Is it that much of a difference? Is it really, you know, not too far off? So it's something that I'm kind of curious to know if it really was obvious for you. I know for me, I still use a 10-bit color just because I know with the color grading, it just makes it a little bit easier for me, whether it's mentally or realistically, I don't know, but just for me, for the sake of everything, it's just faster to keep it on the S&Q mode, because I can go from the 24 frames per second to the 60 on the normal mode with my customization, and straight to the S&Q mode if I want to do 120 frames per second, a lot faster with everything like that. So that's just me personally. I enjoy having the 10-bit color. I currently have a little buddy over here. Look at this guy. Hey buddy. Sadly, I don't have any treats for you, but that's pretty much it when it comes down to the A7 IV with 120 frames per second, seeing how well the 10-bit versus the 8-bit goes. Hopefully this helps you out when it comes down to the, you know, specs of the video. If you really want to upgrade or not, it's up to you. I'm just here to make some videos to have some fun and help out anybody that's curious to know. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.